Warm welcome to everyone. Welcome at the Webmardi. So I will speak in English because the event will be in English. For who, raise your hand if it's not the first time you come to Webmardi. Okay, so we have some people that don't know yet or might not know exactly what the Webmardi is. So the Webmardi is an event that happens every first Tuesday each month. We gather together and we have a... Okay. We have we have someone that comes and talk about a specific subject that could be about design, about coding, about project management, or any other kind of challenges that we may have when working in the web. The Webmardi is a non-profitable association. Is a non-profitable association that is brought to you by a lot of people working free time or working for free for the Webmardi. So we have Nelson, Justine, Margot, Alexia, Asia, Helena, Huli, Kevin, and myself. And maybe you. We are always looking for someone that could help us. That could be for just preparing the apéro, or also to be here presenting and moderating the talks, as well as doing some more background work, helping with the sponsoring or the organization with the speaker. We are also not alone. We have the opportunity to be partners from JetBrains, DevOps Days, and Smashing Magazines. And yes, was a bit, yeah. And definitely we can't be there tonight without our sponsors. So our sponsors helps us to finance the apéro and all the materials that we need to make this event a reality. So thanks a lot to all our sponsors, Idora, Leap, Infomaniac, Super 8, CPNV, and JobTrack. Thanks to them. Tonight we are here at Leap. So Leap is a company that builds products that could be websites, web apps, mobile apps. We also help clients delivering SEO, analytics services, and content services as well. We have offices all over Switzerland, and we are also looking to hire. There will be some more information later on that. So thanks to Leap for giving us the opportunity to make this event here tonight. Whoa, it's going too fast. Whoa. Okay, just one more thing. All our events, you can find them on YouTube. We are also on Instagram and other social medias. So if ever you want to know and to hear more about the Webmardi, you can reach to us on these social medias. Good. Tonight we have the opportunity to have Matthieu that will talk about working fully remotely from dream to reality. I'll let you the stage.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone.
Key part, of course, bit technic. Hope everything works like it should.
Just one thing before you start. For those who are behind, please don't sit close to the wall, because we have Asia that will take some pictures and needs to travel around us. Thank you.
So, hi everybody. Thank you for your interest for my talk. My name is Matthieu. We will talk about remote working today. But first of all, let me start with a quick poll. Who here is working as today 100% fully remote right now? I mean 0 days by the office, at the office. Okay. Who is working in a hybrid form? At least 1, 2, 3, or 4 days a week? Okay, really nice. Thank you. And now we have struggled with the Zapet. That's no problem. Okay, my presentation is not an exact or exhaustive recipe book of what you should or not do with remote working, but rather a collection of my personal experience since 2022. My goal is to keep you in the raccoon on fire mood by making clear that remote working could be really challenging. We will see that remote working is here to stay, so I will give you some advices to keep things on track, and so you don't look at the end, hopefully, like the minions. Let's dive into the agenda. First of all, I will talk about mindset shift. It's a basic requirement for everything to work smoothly. Afterward, I will talk about non-linearity, because remote working is essentially a non-linear process based on asynchronous communication, as you know, maybe, and trial and error. After that, I will talk about transparency, because I think it's a cornerstone for success or failure of your remote working strategy. Then we will talk a bit about IT policy, because when we are doing crazy things like we're talking about tonight, we need guidelines to do things more or less right. And last but not least, I will talk about get-togethers. Not going into details about how to implement them, but rather give you tips and tricks on how to maximize their impact. So just a few words about myself. I try to summarize in a few words what's given me the right to stand in front of you today. I'm mainly working in the industry since 15 years, and some years as a Scrum Master in the watch industry. So I know basically what's working in a field frozen by 50 years of we always did things like that. Clearly makes you stronger when it comes to know how to make things possible or not. Now I have a full-time position in IT since 2018, and since 2022 I'm fully working remote first. Who is this talk for? First of all, the first target is business leader and C positions, because they have the power to change things, and of course it helps to do things happen. Secondly, change managers, because they work on behalf of business leaders, and of course their job is to make things changing. So I guess everybody in the audience today are falling in one or two of this category, I guess. Not really, so okay, door is there, get out. Okay, no, I'm joking, come on. It's just a kind of warning to let you know that it will cost you a lot of energy or power if you try to make things happen, but it's not impossible. I did it, first of all, not as a CEO, and but I had the chance to count on people who were open to change. And maybe the first trick of tonight, for tomorrow, make a list of the seat positions where you can pull on your side tomorrow to make things happen. Because leaders don't say things like employees. Microsoft conducted a survey of 20,000 people in 11 countries. that shows us that 87% of the people are reporting that they are productive at work. That's really nice to see that it's completely the opposite about the leaders, what thinks the leaders. Only 12% of the people thinks their team are productive. So we are in a sort of dilemma now, productivity paranoia. And that's yesterday's situation and not the future which is coming with remote. All of that is quite interesting because if you do an experiment like what happened when Hurricane Harvey struck North America in 2017, basically the researcher had the opportunity to watch workers during a period of 7 months by installing a software that was sniffing the privacy of the workers and looking when they were active or not. And if you compare the situation before when they all work as remote because the hurricane strikes, and if you compare it to the return to office as a stand complete, you see that there is no difference. And that's really interesting because you can make your own thinking about how is happening so, but that's really interesting. So, moreover, new research from the UK's largest money-saving brand has revealed that the average UK office worker is only productive 2 hours and 53 minutes. You heard it right, 3 hours a day. That means 5 hours, it's only trash. And the main distraction affecting employee productivity are, guess what? Social media, traveling organization, because it matters, and news websites, of course. So, what we saw is that at least remote working does not change things in terms of productivity. And what's more interesting is that things are going to last for a while because people don't want to go back to the office. And that's not my point of view. Professor Nick Bloom from Stanford University, whose job is just to monitor how is the share between paid full days work from home and from the office. And he's watching since the coronavirus all the trend. And since 2 years, he see that all the people are fighting to not come back to the office. So it's the reason why you see a trend to stabilize through 28-30%. So the best advice that he's giving to investors and venture capital is to say that return to office is dead. So don't invest here. And sadly, I see today morning also that a big enterprise is giving $10 to a humanitarian pro-employee that came back, just in a way to bring back the people to the office. Let me dig into the mindset shift, because with that mindset shift, everything is over, I can tell you. And that's the call from my heart, bottom of my heart right now. I'm convinced that remote working is a way, or is the key for a deep dive enterprise transformation. So the goal for all of us, is to move from the left side to the right side. And everything you will do, and that means in every category, okay, maybe profit, don't think about profit. You're a CEO, so profit, you can touch it. But planning, experimentation, empowering people, and transparency is, for me, really what's the key, the success factor. So try to implement with baby steps by trying it with a single squad, for instance. Do what we call fine micro shifts, rather than big changes, to make small ones. It gives you fast feedbacks if you work with one single team. It's inexpensive because we know remote working doesn't cost anything. No permission needed. What I mean about that is, if you are in a team and you want to do that, just tell your boss that you are the proof of concept, and we will try it, and let the possibility to opt in or opt out if other will do that. That will soften the entry barrier. And of course, don't wait that everything will be clean and as smooth as awaited, because it will never. It's really an ongoing process, and I will talk about that just after that. As a Scrum Master, I observe that sometimes some companies won't change at all because it's deeply rooted into processes or people themselves. So, my solution: create a startup, buy everyone one by one, and fire the rest because they won't change. That's just simple. Yeah, I will talk about non-linearity. I mean, remote working is like every life process. It needs really time to stabilize. So we're back to the E from the fine microshifts. If you have a goal, the process that need to be stabilized will take some time. And for that, of course, like every time, use preemption points to reach the goal. Here, just put it till you reach the goal. What's the difference between the gray and the orange curve is just experience. Talk like today, just give you some information to minimize or mitigate the error you will doing. So we know, everybody knows a solution to keep preemption points, daily stand-ups, RSOM, Kanban, visual management, or so on. But for myself, what's really the most important tool that you can apply in your organization is retrospectives. Retrospectives, I don't know if you're used to agile methodologies, sorry, but basically it's just you take a window every 4 weeks and you say, okay, what did well, what did wrong, and how can we improve the process? And my recipe here to make good retrospective is just, first of all, take care of the interactions between people, and more that, do the red, yellow, green lamp system. I call that glad, sad, mad, because it's really important to take people in center. Because if I lost my brother or my mother this week, I will really be mad. And if you're just pushing hard on me and waiting that I will be proficient, it won't work. So just take care one or the other. And that's really the big part when you are behind the screen. You have to be really careful about people. Secondly, ask everybody in the retro to show or to think about ways to improve comfort and efficiency. And when you are at the beginning of the process, there is plenty of them, and it never ends. In reality, points that lead to schedule deviation, naturally interesting solution found, and don't shame, which didn't work. And finally, because I like that, celebrate what did well into the retrospective. And that's really difficult. It will be tough in some days because you will think, okay, everything went so not so well, but give you a chance to do that. What will really be needed is, as we talked about asynchronous communication, you need two tools. First of all, naturally, a chat internal system, of course, as everyone has today. But secondly, you will need a wiki or an internal documentation system. And by that, I don't mean a static page that nobody could use or which is not up to date. I talk about documentation that is live, that is living, and that everybody could, for instance, share and edit simultaneously. And that's really about, that's the core business. And that led us to transparency. I will show you, oh, sorry. for me, it's the basement. I will show you a specific example, but there is plenty. I took the hardest. I mean, salary system is quite difficult to make it open. So that's just an example on our own. We derivate the work from Leap, which I will provide at the end of the slide of the presentation. A blog post that's really interesting what they did. We did our own. Basically, what we did, we put basic salary equal for all, and so we can guarantee equal treatment between genders and to be transparent. So it means that we don't pay gratification to a specific person. It's either to all or to none. After that, we stack the seniority. So every year your salary will have only be indexed, so you don't have to ask for. And we added an additional layer for ages, because every 10 years, depending on your age, all insurance will increase. So we take that by a really nice indexing. So it means basically that we do not negotiate salary, and we try to make it as transparent as possible. The last part is the two silos. It is expertise and impact. It's a self-assessment. By example, you say, okay, I'm 0, 1 because of that. And then you give your case to the peer review. And then basically the peer review team just accept it or makes most modifications if needed, and that's all. That's really an example. I mean, that's basics for me to transparency. The idea about impact and expertise, impact is naturally the difference between the results you obtain and the resource you use. It could be really everything, depending on what was going on in the 12 past months. It should not be economic at all every single time. Expertise is just the sum between know-how and experience. So certificates are, of course, taken into account, but it's not definitely the only source of truth. So, IT policy. Let me do just first a quick poll. Who is not working in an IT company or position? Okay, good. The majority. But in some extreme cases, such as tourism sector, during the pandemic, remote working has led to poor working conditions because of the insufficient income. During the pandemic, guides in tourism guides has to change the business model into remote guiding tour. It was really challenging for them, and imagine they had to stack so much remote guide, so much remote tour, that at the end of the month they didn't have enough to eat. So remote working could lead to poorer working conditions as highly variable working hours, tiredness and suffering, and so on. And we don't want that, because nobody, employees and for course business leaders, don't want to make some rotation too much of the personnel. And here again, a call of my bottom of my heart, because in the 16th and 18th century, we really have a strong collective solidarity. That was the basement of our society. Home was not conceived as a place for intimacy, so everybody was there and taking precedence over the individual. But unfortunately, or fortunately, in the 19th century, with the nobility, the 19th century brought a split between private life and work life, for the good or for the bad. And my wish is, now that the ICTs are breaking down boundaries again, that maybe we could take care a lot more about who we are working with. So let me take an example with security, because you have two ways to look at security in an enterprise. You could look at it as a control freak, or you can see it as an opportunity to relax everybody by giving specific field of action. Compare it, IT policy, to role-based access control, to create a relaxing environment for every instance. Because if you know you don't have access to a specific server, you know it exists, but you know you don't have access to it, you know you don't break something, and the opposite, of course, you're assured that you're controlling everything. But you can still be transparent by using infrastructure as code, secret management, to pull the access from central management and give access and deploy it. By the way, be able to onboard somebody is a good sign that you're ready for remote working. So if you onboard somebody in more than 20 minutes, there is really a big gap of potential. It works the same for outboarding, of course. So in summary, be transparent and document it. Bring your own device, make it clear. Do you accept or not working time, right time to time off, specifically if, as us, you're working on call. So set limits and everybody will be glad. Last but not least, I will talk about get together. But just give me the opportunity to talk about the dark side of remote working. This is clearly your biggest enemy. I mean, feeling of isolation and lack of social interaction is really the key factor, because it could lead to physical and mental health problems. But there are ways of ensuring everyone's health. Yeah, I put a cat because everyone loves cats, anyway. Yeah, employee happiness, like each of the many things that matter to you in your company, take care to ensure that your employees feel good. If you don't have any tools to monitor, measure that, track it, use the World Health Organization 5 Wellbeing Index, because it's a good one. It's really simple, 5 questions, 1 to 5, and you know directly in which state is the person in front of you. That's really a tough subject, but the measurement tool is not really important in absolute terms. Just trust your own way to know that, to feel it, and yeah, do it in the relative way. As a personal advice, I could encourage you to go on stressnotstress.ch just to self-assess if your mental health at work is good. And don't forget that also in remote, every single things that you are doing on site, like physical healthiness, is also something you have to care on. So, if you have to retain only one thing today, it's that. Value the time spent being non-productive. As we talked about, 5 hours, you're winning 5 hours of trash things. So my advice, please take some minutes of them and just value the time non-productive. If somebody wants to share something with you, just replace the coffee machine effect. You just have to hear people, and that's really the precious tool that you will have. Finally, Atlassian did a really interesting internal survey beginning this year to measure the connection boost after a get-together. It's interesting to see that after 3 months, you can really see a decay, and my best advice is to plan at least a get-together every 4 months, because after that, really, it makes no more sense. Yes, it's like in a couple. You can organize that in a turn a plan moment into a bit spontaneity. Sorry, if you let people organize the get together on a rolling base. That's what we're doing. So everyone in the squad is organizing something. You give a budget and let people show others something that is really special for them. Bit special. It doesn't have to be a fireworks every time. It's really take back to the roots. You want to share time with your colleague and maintain a safe environment. So time is running really fast, and I want to go any further. If you want to go any further, sorry, some of my sources will help you. But mainly, let me thank all my teammates for their support and patience with our long-running experiment. Thanks for watching on-site and remotely. Let's dive into the Q&A.
Thank you very much, Matthieu.
You're welcome.
So for question, we'll just pass the mic. So who's having question? Stefan.
Hi, Matthieu.
Hi.
My name is Stefan, and I've got a question that I would like to ask you is what are you doing with education, with internship and apprenticeship in such a case of full remote work?
Onboarding is really a key factor. So every good practice that you have still stand. You have to track the trainee and yeah, that's basically the basic point. If you are talking about apprenticeship in particular, that's really a point that we didn't solve right now, because of course you have to have a physical building for it. But we are in a way to do that. So it's not clear right now, but maybe in a year or two I will come back with a solution for you.
I will be really interested by that.
I will be.
Someone else?
Don't be shy, and you can also ask for questions in French or German.
Is it more work for leaders when the team are working full remote?
The answer is definitely yes. I like to say that remote working is like agile methodology. It's just looking underneath the carpet, and there is plenty of shit beneath. So remote working would just show you all the shit that is happening in your organization. Every single move that is not smooth for the knowledge transfer, and that's really the basic one, will explode in your face. So of course it's really challenging, but you win a lot of it. I mean, the return on investment is incredible. Yeah.
So as the leaders are the people that are making the decisions, do you think it's like a break for the full remote dream or not?
There are plenty of advantages for CEOs. First of all, the cost. Of course, we are seeing here in Lip that we are renting the building because we don't use it anymore as before, so it means more incomes, less spent. So as I said at the beginning, it's the future. It's up to you to decide how you want to be prepared to it. But all the people that was not raising the hand at the beginning, I'm sure in 10 years or maybe 5 years already, everybody will do at least hybrid work.
Any other question?
Yes, one thing that we struggle sometimes is more I think I worked a lot full remote for 2 years during the COVID. It was not a problem. The biggest problem I think for me is hybrid working. So one thing that I heard from someone is that if at least one person is remote, you should consider to do everything like it would be fully remote. That means no in-person meeting, and just everybody should sit at their computer and talk through their webcam, even if they're in the same room. That's kind of what we are doing with my team now. But I don't know if you had more pinpoint to with this hybrid working stuff.
Okay, first of all, I'm not a fan about hybrid. Hybrid is a way to disadvantage people that are working remotely. So I'm not a fan about that. But again, it's showed you only the process. It's not transparent enough, because if everything is transparently written in a wiki, or I don't know, if knowledge is completely transferring in an asynchronous mode, so everything will work fine. And there are two schools about that. The first one is saying, don't do hybrid, either do not or do a full. But the other point is, of course, if you're just injecting problem of time zones, then ever hybrid or not, you have to handle the knowledge transfer, because some people will work at night and the other will work on the day. So you will have to find a solution for the knowledge transfer to be asynchronous enough to work in hybrid or not. So it's not really the core problem.
But then it could be the same, actually, the knowledge transfer, the problem is actually the same even with people not doing remote working, just part-time working.
That's it. Completely, you're right.
Thank you.
So, hello.
Hello?
Is it working? I think it
Yeah,
is.
it is. We don't have the feedback, but it's working on YouTube.
Okay. So my question is more about the social aspect, because having been remote working for some time during COVID and then returning to it, I've noticed that like quite a lot of the knowledge transfer happens like very subtly, like in pantries, like somebody mentions something and you're like, okay, wait, so this is something that I have to pay attention to, or this is an opportunity that I wanna seize, and there just wasn't this kind of transfer during COVID, and I'm wondering like how do you tackle that, because like I think there's also benefits in having strong social links as well between people. It's like as a aspect of like
Social
rapport. Yeah, rapport. You know, increasing trust between people. So how do you tackle this issue?
My best advice for hybrid teams, first of all, break down the coffee machine. That's definitely it. Bring the people behind their screen and make sure that for preemption decision, that's written somewhere. And yeah, that's really the basics, because you will have to. The other point that you can do is let the working hours be completely free, and then everything will slowly take its place alone. Because if you're not able to grab everyone on a single time, then you have to communicate in another way. So that's really a challenging decision, but it's one that could be possible. Because if you say, okay, I'm okay that you're working at night. I have a teammate who mainly like to work at night. But then it's just a challenge. And you have to ask yourself, is he the problem, or am I the problem, because I'm not capable to track trace of knowledge transfer during that. But of course, with your preemption point, I talked about daily scrums. You have to find, that's the only thing I think you have to take care of it, because it should be on a time for synchronization at a time when everyone will be present. The night owler and of course the other who like to work with the sunlight.
ask one more question? So during COVID, you know, a lot of people did home office. And at the time, well, I wasn't in the IT sector. And a lot of people were burnt out because most of the conversation was surrounding work KPI. You know, in meetings, you talk about what you've done, what you haven't done. A lot of people feel like they have to really justify, like, staying at home, and they overcompensate it by working more, which isn't great for mental health. Whereas, say, if you have the in-person contacts, maybe they're aware of like what you're up to. You know, they know that perhaps you're not in the right place, or you're sick or whatever. So there's more of that. I feel like people were probably more lenient when they see you in person. Do you see this contrast?
Yes, and that's really the dilemma that I told you at the beginning. Because in fact, when people are on site, they are not working, they are just there. So I see really a big hype when we are working from remotely, because everyone is kind of an adult and knows that he has to do his job in the time frame. So when you're putting your hours in the recording on the timesheet, you're just putting time that you are really working. And for that, I mean, the advice with the coffee that I give you just at the end is really the most important. You have to ensure that the time spent non-productive is also a value that you give to the team for the mental health, and to be sure that you won't be burned out. But that's really, look at it. If you onboard somebody, you need 6 months or maybe 2 years to the point that he's really proficiency enough for your team. And if you ask for the ability to be adult enough to work in remote capability, then you lose somebody really valuable. So just step down, cool down as a business leader, and just take care of your workers, employee, and value non-productive time. Does it answer a bit your question?
Yeah, like I was trying to tackle the subconscious part that you have to overcompensate, like not during the unproductive time, but more like after the call, you're like, okay, they don't exactly know what I'm doing, so I have to constantly be like on it. Like my online is like constantly there, and yes.
My opinion is, in fact, in practice, if you value time and give the IT policy clear, the people will slowly just relax and don't overcompensate, and just stop the timesheet when they whether they don't work, and be kind enough. It's really more about solidarity in both ways that just KPIs.
Okay.
Any last question? Yes.
Okay, if you make like remote work optional, what does tend to happen? Like, half of the people decide to go remote, or half of the people like never come to the office, have come. What happens if it's completely optional?
The Professor Bloom told us, or showed us, that 30% of the people will absolutely not come to the office if you are really free willing. But there is, I must agree, not everybody is ready for the remote working. There are many reasons about that. The way we are tackling the social interaction is maybe one of them, but I'm not sure. It's just yes, but of course there are a small part of the people, or maybe a biggest part that I think, but less than a half, I'm sure, that will not use this opportunity and come to the office regularly. Bad or not, I don't know. Maybe it's just a sign that we're not ready. Because if I ask in the eyes, everybody, what don't you want to invest time that you are moving day to day to the office? Don't you want to use that time to just spend time with your family or free time, or I don't know? Then everybody will say, yeah, of course I want, but I cannot work from home. And for me, it's just a sign that your way to handle the working day is not really good. So maybe as a leader, you have to make things change. And of course, what we are doing also, and it's not a problem. You can ask. For instance, last month I asked my teammates, and I said spontaneously, "Hey, is somebody willing to do a co-working day?" And someone answered, "Yes, I will." Okay, where do we meet each other? Bern. Okay, right. Next day we have a lot of place in Switzerland where we can really quick rent a room, and she ran a room, and we did a co-working day. That's really not a problem at all. If you're responsible enough to feel, okay, maybe I'm in a mood where at the morning I'm not really motivated, so just ask. Just be free and tell your teammates, hey, somebody want remotely maybe a co-working, not forcefully physically, but yeah, that's really a tool that you can use. Thank you. You're welcome.
Thank you very much, Matthieu.